And we're recording. Yes.
We at the Tor Corporation believe that this is fucking awesome!
Unlike the map.
Unlike the map.
Yes. We understand that this map is a beta, that we were supposed to check for bugs. Well, it's not just the bugs that make this map kind of bad. It's the fact that when we have to go on the very first part of the map, play it so many times that we're forced to go to easy because of that, you have a problem.
And it's with your difficulty.
Yeah, obviously this is a failure when it comes to our third part of the stars rating. It's a failure. It fails on all levels because you didn't even set this right for anybody. I'm pretty sure it's pretty hard for anybody that plays advanced and drops it down to normal. Because we're playing...
If you make out the safe room on the first level on advanced, I think you just die.
There's just so many problems with it. Not only that, tunnel vision is a big problem. It doesn't help. Secluded spaces, the fact that there's a tank that doesn't spawn right, the elevator not really having a top and a bottom, it's kind of see-through. That's a bug that you can fix. The tank that spawns a little late on top of the elevator is a bug, but those are fixable. And that's not really a problem. The major problem is you need to learn what a difficulty is. It is...
Oh my god, those fucking... Oh, those two scripted tanks.
But you know, I wonder how much your complainings would be fixed if we had melees.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Melees need to be in this.
There's a few things we're complaining about I feel melees would have fixed.
Yeah, melees would have fixed it. Yeah, that's true. The first one especially would have fixed it. At least a second pistol would have been nice.
Or throw us a magnum.
One of those two. Because seriously, we're just starting off with pistols and we pretty much use our ammo before we even hit the tanks. There is no ammo pouches anywhere near us. There's no melees. No health. There's a lot of things that could be adjusted. Big time. That first map part by itself ruined anything the difficulty had a chance with, because that set what the whole map is going to be. In terms of your traps, they work fine. You don't really have much of a bug there. The ladder in the first part where you go down and suddenly you feel like you go falling and then you catch a ladder. Please adjust the fuck out of that to make it where you just go down the ladder, because that is so unsettling. It might be part of it, but that is fucking weird. I don't know what else to add. You guys have anything to add? This is first impressions.
There's a lot of great ideas in this, I saw.
Well, yeah, this has a lot of innovation, a lot of good ideas. They just aren't executed very well.
But considering that this is... If I take what was said, it is literally a direct port. There's nothing was done to it from its original release on the
first
Left 4 Dead 1.
Well, not only that, this also has bugs and everything. It's just that he needs to kind of adjust it to where it can work for Left 4 Dead 2. By this point, there should be a way of direction. There's a couple of times we kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Some spaces are way too open, leaving us feeling like, okay, there should be more than what is here, and we just kind of walked through it. It was there. There's a couple other things. But most of the things really relates to that first part. That first part is mainly like 7 times we restarted there. Out of those 8, 7 times we're there. Because we only restarted one time afterward. No, twice afterwards. And that was, with the... What was it that... what was it called? It's that trap room that we have to walk through. And if I didn't cheat and find out what we were supposed to look at, none of us would have known.
We might have figured it out.
We would have figured it out, but we wouldn't have known for a while. Plus, we didn't know where to go. There's 2 ways to go. So, yeah, there's just some things that could be really point out to more, like, kind of give your player, like, okay, beware of this. This is how you navigate through it. keep an eye out, something like that. Give a player a chance. So, unless you guys have something to add, I'm going to go straight to the review.
Alright.
I have nothing to add.
And obviously Dread, because he likes to keep himself mute.
No, I don't got anything to say about first impressions.
Alright, on to the review. Meta, you like always starting first. Same rotation. And it's 5 stars max, 1 star minimum. Number of infected for this campaign. We couldn't get an actual number because, well, stats are broken. That's a bug that needs to be fixed. But, what'd you think about it?
The number of infected, oh my... It would help if the infected spawned when they were supposed to spawn, but instead they're just like a few seconds late to spawning.
That's that, yeah.
And I can't really judge a difficulty based on that, except I could with the first segment. That first map needs to be fixed, because those boomers and those hunters are spawning
at a ridiculous rate, yeah.
A ridiculous rate.
Yeah.
It needs to be toned down a bit so that we actually have time to move out of there. And for a while, we didn't know what to do at that segment. We just stood by that entrance and we hoped we could, like, get through all the zombies if we just stayed by the door. But no, you have to get away from the door, which I guess is okay. But that's design. We'll get into that later. Number of infected, I'm gonna give this. There's definitely more than enough, but I feel that is more of a handicap rather than I feel that's more endangering our progress rather than, well, it's more annoying. It's more irritating. Is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna give this half a star.
All right, Kyo.
Yeah. I love what I was thinking has been said and all that, so I'll just say my number, half a star.
Dread.
I give it a 0, mainly because in the beginning it was so bad that we actually had to go down to easy. I don't think we've ever actually had to do that before.
That is true.
Yeah.
I agree with Dread. When you set a standard to where we're forced, we don't have a fucking opportunity of changing that idea. We immediately went down to easy because of how difficult your first part of your map was, and had to play the rest of it because we were in fear. You fucked up your own map in terms of difficulty, and anything that does with infected, especially adding Jimmy Gibbs Jr. where we don't have a melee is bad enough. Adding more than one of them is pretty
Why
fucking
would you add Jimmy Gibbs Jr. at all? There's a reason why he was left out of the main game, because he was way too difficult and infected to deal with.
And he only makes sense in Dead Center.
That's true. Now, on top of that, you have 2 tanks. One of them that doesn't spawn right. The other one is in a very small room where there's also infected blocking your path. That's not just making it hard. That's just making it like you have to be an expert knowing that there's an infected going to be around that area. You got to make sure you got to kill them first and then kill a tank behind you so you can move. On top of that, you also have a very flawed map coming out of there. It's too fucking dark, so sometimes you can't even see the infected. It gets to a point where it feels way too overwhelming at times, and then you don't even give the players a chance by throwing health in or anything. So I know that's going into difficulty, but is also in part of the infected of the map. That first part really fucked you over. So yeah, it's a no star from me. Moving on to length, we played about 1 hour and 38 minutes is what it clocked in. I'm just going to round it up to 1 hour 40. Meta, what'd you think?
I think it actually could have been shorter than that. I would actually go so far to say that it was more like 1 hour and 10 minutes at most. That seems about right.
Well, yeah, if you discredit all those fucking restarts, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
But it's
and
still
you know what I feel is Yeah, it's a 5-part map. It's about an hour long. That feels appropriate. I'm gonna give it a full star.
All right. Q.
It does have the appropriate length, so full star.
All right. Dread.
I'll give it half a star because most of the times when we were dying because of the traps, it felt like it was artificially lengthening the map when we wait for the hero closet, which there were barely any of.
Yeah, that goes to difficulty though. I give it a quarter. Timing wise, it's about right, but in terms of length, there is artificial. There's a lot of artificial length to it. A lot of the time is waiting, trying to figure out what do we need to do. It's more of a puzzle map. And usually I'm more forgiving on that, but some of them, like, they come right after another. We get lost a lot of the times, which kind of makes this length a little difficult to not know if it's long or short. If you knew with everything, like, you play this map so many times, you know where everything is, I could see it being a lot easier to go through. It doesn't help that a lot of that is waiting and waiting and waiting. So yeah, it's a quarter star for me. Moving on to difficulty, I think we already answered that. Meta,
It needs an improvement.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I don't mind fighting a tank, but you need to give us an ammo pile to work with. I mean, every other map after the first one was running just fine.
Yeah,
we were able to get through them.
Yeah, that first one is the major deal killer when it comes to difficulty fitting. What do you want to give it?
I'm gonna give it, considering that first part was the only problem, and you do need to get through the first map in order to get to the others. I am going to give this a quarter of a star.
All right, Kyo.
I mean, we tested on normal. We had to drop down to easy just to make it feel like normal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give it any stars when it basically violates the rules we've already set in place.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dread.
I give it a 0 because we were threatening to drop it right at the beginning.
Well, we already had it too, so.
No, just to quit the map altogether. Remember?
Yeah, if we couldn't beat it on easy, we were gonna say fuck this map and give it a full 0 because of that first map. Yeah. And I give it a 0. The difficulty's way out there. This goes mainly to the first one. There's not enough health items around. There's way too many specials being spawned at a rapid rate. You don't have a whole lot of weapons to choose from. You don't have any melees. You don't have a second pistol. You don't have a deagle being helpful. It also goes with the fact that you also have ledges that could possibly kill you. You got traps going all over the place where you don't give any indication of that. And throughout the rest of the maps, you still don't give any indication of that, which you kind of need to do that. Like, beware of this area. There are traps. Just something like that, so that way we can keep an eye out. There's stuff like that you need to work on.
The lack of hero clauses, because there were barely any.
The first one had a lack. The first one had none. The rest of them did have some, though, Dread. But yeah, there's a lack of them. There's a lot of problems when it comes to difficulty, and that's just why there's no way to justify it given any star. Even what Meta said, it is just the first part, and we have to go through that in order to see the rest of it. And the rest of it is still kind of relatively tame. It's the first part that sets the tone, and we played it on easy afterwards because it was violating our normal set of rules, which is we always play a map on normal. If we have to tone it down to easy just to get through the first part, we expect the rest of them to where it has to be on easy mode. And even then, we still had some problems, even when it came to that. A lot of them, again, were traps, but that still doesn't help. And those traps came way too fucking frequently, I have to admit. There's way too much. So I'm going to move on to design. Meta, what do you think about the design?
Tunnel vision. That's just the first part of the map. The other ones are just fine. They're more merciful with the tunnel vision, but that first map is just way too dark. It needs at least. It's a power plant. I know. I said in the video, well, this place should at least have torches or something, and I'm like, and then Keo reminded me, oh right, it's a fucking power plant. Why would it have torches? So, but there's even still, I can't stand tunnel vision. It forces my eyes to look at a certain spot, at the only spot where where I can actually see anything, and it hurts. And I'll admit, all the times where I've fallen off, that was just, I should have been a lot more careful during those segments, and I should have taken my time. But still, I would have at least liked to have been able to see around me.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe that was the point. Even
Probably.
So, it's just a personal preference. I really don't like tunnel vision maps, so I'm gonna give this half a star.
All right, Kyo.
Me, I actually don't have terrible much problem with tunnel vision maps, but you know, it's dark though. That's the annoying part there.
Yeah.
So dark that you can't see.
If I may add something real quick.
Go ahead.
I give it half because I know this is a beta, and I know that there's a lot of potential to be able to add more to the map than what we're seeing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have.
Beta re-release though. It's already have a complete release in this state on Left 4 Dead 1.
Yeah.
This is a direct, like, I'm just going to
that's
just make the VPK file work with Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's why I would say this is still a complete map, even after it says beta for Left 4 Dead.
It's beta in the update process to Left 4 Dead 2, but technically this should be a complete map without the update.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, what do you want to give it, Q?
I'll give it 3/4 a star.
Dread.
I give it a half because it looked okay, but all the textureless things was just no. There's too much textureless objects in there. Like that whole room, there's a whole room full of nothing but textureless objects.
Mm-hmm. And
then at the end, when we found that supposed dock, it was textureless, so we didn't know if we would die if we touched it.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I'm going to agree with all your reasons here and give it a 1/4. Outside of how the map is designed in terms of way getting point A to point B, it's fine. The only problems I have with it starts with the first one. It's too dark. It's really hard to see where you're going sometimes. The elevator. Let's see what else. Where you have all the propane and the gas cans. If you go inside the room and close the door, you can see outside, still on the outside of the door side of it. This also goes with textureless. There's a lot of textureless areas. There is no know-how what's coming up ahead. There's no indication, like, okay, this thing's going to crush you, and you don't even know it. I get with the rocks are supposed to be surprising, but when there's, it goes to, I think, like part 4, where you have the things there, you don't notice the indications on the floor until, like, several times after. You need something to tell us, okay, look towards the floor, this will help you kind of guide you through it. Because that's not necessarily a trap. That's just more or less kind of playing trial and error at that point. Let's see what else. There is.
I might want to add something of the gas cans in the first part. When I came down on that ladder, I just stood on top of those gas cans. I didn't shoot them or do anything, and it exploded on me.
Well, I think that's Left 4 Dead though. I don't know if that's.
No, look, I saw you stand on them, and they didn't explode.
Yeah, it could have been just random. You never know. It might have been a bug. There's a couple of other things that need to be adjusted.
The tank having fire as his body.
That's Left 4 Dead. I ain't gonna punish.
Yeah, that's Left 4 Dead.
The rapid spawn of specials. That's a bug that you need to fix too. But it goes into design because I know that they spawn when they press those buttons. You either need to make it those buttons have like spawn maybe one at a time. That's a part of design. It just, there's a lot of problems you have when it comes to buttons. Like, you don't, there's the one where I died. I pressed a button and died. I didn't find out until it was a laser. And that laser almost looks flat. It's very hard to see.
It's not even a laser, it's a needle.
It doesn't even look, you don't even notice it though. That's the thing. It's really flat looking. Another part is there was the white laser that you died at, Meta, and we didn't even know you died until we looked back because there's fog right in front of you.
Yeah.
There's that. It's a white laser with white fog or smoke. That needs to change color. You need to allow your player to see that. Otherwise, they don't know it's there unless they look at a certain angle. Other lasers that you've seen previously, those were fine. They're not really that bad. Let's see. I can't really say anything else. It's just there's a lot of problems that it needs to be adjusted. Everything else in terms of traps were fine. They weren't that bad. It was pretty innovative other than that, though. I like the ideas and the concept. It just, some of them weren't executed at all very well. Most of the traps were, but everything else, not so much. And this brings us to the final star rating. Recommendations. Meta, would you recommend it?
As it is right now, no. It's got an interesting idea behind it, but it does need a lot of improvement, especially if it's going to be ported over to Left 4 Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, if this is the actual map, even after they fix everything, like the item spawns, the health spawns, the infected pathing,
Mm-hmm.
then it just needs a lot. It still needs a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't give it a recommendation. Not as it is.
All right. Kyo, do you recommend it?
Kind of want to say yes, but to those who really want to.
Well, what would you give it?
Guess for those who really want to would be 3/4 the star, I suppose.
3/4?
Yes.
Dread, would you recommend it?
No.
Well, that was short and simple. That's all I needed to know. I wouldn't recommend it either. It deals with that first part. You're not going to have any fun. That first one needs to be fixed. That first part alone ruins this map a lot. Everything after it is well done. It just needs a little fixing here and there, but that first part is what's holding this map back from having the potential of being a recommendation from me. I don't know about my co-reviewers here. I don't want to give it a star. I don't want to give it a rating into recommendations until that first one's fixed. And even if this is the way it's supposed to be, and I play it again after it's updated to complete, and I have to still go down to easy just to get past it, it's not working. It's not worth playing. It's not worth reviewing again. It needs a lot of work. A lot of it goes into design, but that first part needs to be adjusted first. Before you go anywhere in your design, work on that first part. Fix a lot of those infected spawning. Get rid of that Jimmy Gibbs, because that's just stupid. Adding one is bad enough. Adding several is just bad overall. So yeah, That's it.
Probably better off putting putting the armored zombies instead of the Jimmy Gibbs.
If you want some difficulty, just put the armored zombies in there. Don't put Jimmy Gibbs. Oh, and there's only one good thing that you did. When you have Jimmy Gibbs Jr. in here, you allowed the first set of survivors, not the second set. Because you had the second set and we had Ellis, oh god. The loud no that Ellis says. And we killed so many Jimmy Gibbs. That's the only time you ever hear it, in fact. Anyway, so with that all done, Maddie, you gave it 2 1/4.
Mm-hmm.
Keo, you actually gave it 3. Surprisingly.
Awesome.
Dread, you gave it a full star, and I gave it a half of star. It's a little bit random. It's all personal preference. If you're masochistic enough to want to play this, go ahead. I implore you to go ahead. Have fun. But going to the general average person that just plays casually, no. You will not have fun. You will not have fun with your friends. I don't care.
Probably make someone quit Left 4 Dead if they tried playing this as a beginner.
Yeah, it's not even a good troll map for that. If you want a troll map, go Death Hour. That's a troll map. It's a fun troll map too. So yeah, that's it for that one. Anything else to add to that, guys?
Nope.
No.
All right. Okay, Meta, go ahead, do your thing.
Like, comment, and subscribe, because that's the only way we're going to get better. Even if it's just harsh criticism, just make a comment. Comment about anything. Comment about how Knight is a gigantic fucking prick to Dread in every single game that we ever play.
That's game trolling, though.
And that's all we have for today. See you guys.
See you later.